Yeah, we're excited. It's finally here, and our kids are excited, and I know our fans are, and we're ready to obviously still work to do, but excited that at the end of this week it's not a scrimmage or a mock game or anything. It's where you really get tested, and I know everyone's feeling that way, and so are the opponents, and I know Baylor will be extremely excited, and Coach Aranda will have his team ready to compete at a high level. And just watching games from that kicked off in the early week, it's a reminder, a stark reminder that mistakes cost you in these games, and hopefully we can play as mistake free and clean on things that we do to ourselves in game one that give us the best chance to win against a very talented team. The returning depends, how you look at their depth chart, but up to six guys on defense, really impressive. Zero and three. I think those two guys are really good players. They got a highly rated transfer, and I think he's wearing 50 from Tulane, the pass rusher. That's a really good player, and 27's a solid guy. And then 11 is returning, linebacker, and looks like a real SEC type player. So defensively, Dave has always done a great job. I have great respect for him, and know that they present a lot of fronts, a lot of movement, and they're very, very well coached and disciplined defensively. They finished the year probably as hot as anyone in the regular season, winning six straight, and got to have a lot of confidence. Played in one of our league teams in a bowl game, very close, and it was impressive to watch them compete. So I have great respect for Baylor and for the job they've done in building that program. Dave, I think it's in year 6 or 7 now, and his quarterback is played off the charts good the last part of the year, and they have special talent in the return guy, 35 Cameron, I think's his name, and he's electric, and also a very talented receiver, very talented tight end, and running back that rushed for over 1,000 yards. So they probably averaged 41 points, I believe, in their last 7 games to finish the year. So again, I'm sure they're coming in very confident in who they are, and returning staff and returning a lot of key players. So it's a great task to open the year out there, and we're looking forward to it. Expectant big things again. I like our team, I like where we're headed, and this will be a great test for us.
Let Jason start. We'll go Mike, Adam, Nathan.
Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. How do you balance opening games by trying not to do too many things that guys pay free, but also make sure you kind of cover all the bases? How tough is that as a coach?
It's tough because you have too much time, and you'll have your mind set on this is what we should do, and then you watch another game or you watch another cut up, and you have three more ideas. Those ideas are worthless if your kids can't go out and execute it at a high level against different pitchers that you're going to see. And so I think, having done this a while, I'm very aware of that threat, and we have to balance that off of each other, saying, no, do we really, really need this? Because you can't get everything repped in practice, and you better rep the things that you think you're going to need to win the game over and over again against the different looks, and give your quarterback all of those looks. So, but that is hard for game one. It gets a little easier when you're in a normal week, and you don't have much time. You're going to go with your gut and your first instinct usually in game planning. So that is a challenge in game one.
Coach, you've been coaching the quarterbacks hard this fall camp. Can you talk about Jackson Arnold's preparedness for game one, and where you feel he's at? Can you rate that? And then second part of the question, how do you prepare your team on a short week for game one when you've got a Friday game and you're traveling on the road?
Yeah, I'll do that one first. That again, being game one, it's not that you have time to plan. So we actually formulated, the last 2 weeks just like it was a Friday game. So we've been able to. It is a little different for sure, but you have to remind yourself that today's really a Tuesday, and you're not normally on that same schedule on a normal week where you're practicing hard on a Monday or a Sunday, but having it be the first game has helped with that. Jackson, I think, is progressing every practice, and I'm excited to see him go and compete in our mock game that we had. I thought his decision making was really good. I wish he'd hang in the pocket a little more and go through his progressions, and we're working on that with him. But at the same time, he's an athlete that creates some things too when he does escape the pocket. And so you have to balance that as a coach, I think. But he made good decisions. We've got to make sure, again, that we're not doing too much where our receivers, we want them in the right spots at the right time, and making sure, because I think we're athletic enough there to win. Just be sure we're not making stuff up, on a given play because you think you see something, or just do what the play is designed to do. And I think we're good enough there to win and get open, and that will help our quarterbacks. It'll be interesting, how we protect in this game with all the different exotic blitzes that they have. We've got a good plan for that, I think. But Jackson is, I'm pleased with his progression. Also pleased with Deuce and Ashton. Deuce in the mock game the other night was 7 for 7 and looked like nothing fazed him. And again, I know it's not against Baylor, but he was very accurate, stood in the pocket, threw the ball, and was really impressive. And Ashton did some really nice things also. So, but pleased with where Jackson's at. Excited to see him go and see what he does under the lights here Friday night.
Here in the game notes, it had, I think, Derek, Kent, and Rock listed as coaches who will be up in the booth. I know at least one of those is definitely new, but could you just talk, I guess, a little bit about the decision making to have those guys up there as opposed to on the field?
Say the names again.
Kent, Derek, and Rock.
Yeah, Ken and DJ. Obviously, I let him decide who he wants up there defensively with him, but offensively, that's what we did last year. I felt it was best to have both Kent and Derek up, feeding me information and seeing things from their viewpoint when they make calls, and for the next drive, and having I think you can think more clearly up there probably, and obviously with the tablet use, you really can get yourself together with them two being together there. Have a really good plan for the next drive. So that's what the thinking is that went into that.
Hugh, where are you guys at health-wise this week, particularly Eric Singleton?
He looked good yesterday. I think he's close to being 100%. We'll continue to protect him a little bit and get him some conditioning, but he'll be ready to give it a go, for, Lord willing that nothing else happens this week. But I think everybody's, at a point that's going to be able to play that hadn't been already ruled out previously. So we're pleased and thankful for that. Alex McPherson is still going through some testing, and we'll see kind of where he's at the end of the week. But at this point, I would expect kind of everybody that has not been ruled out earlier to give it a go.
We'll go Ferg, Bill, Peter, then JG.
Hugh, you were in here last week talking about you wanted to see more from your guys up front with pass protection, training more, doing that. How did they respond to that? How did you see that group do the last week in that area specifically?
Yeah, they've improved. I know they're very capable of doing that. And again, I say things sometimes that are and I don't know that everybody hears everything I say. You know, they see 1,000 different looks right now that they probably hadn't been coached very well to protect either. And so, you know, I hope that means we've got some good one-on-one pass rushers. And I think, you know, the thought behind that was I felt like we were losing too many one-on-ones in that. And Baylor certainly has guys that will test us. But I feel confident in who our guys are. And I think it helps when you get in a game and you're not playing yourself. And you would hope. But it doesn't matter who you play. If you stay in 3rd and long, you're going to be in trouble. You're just not going to convert many of those against quality teams like Baylor. So I think what helps our offensive line more than anything is us winning 1st and 2nd down and getting into 3rd and manageable situations where we can do both run or pass. That would benefit them greatly. But they've responded well. Excited to see them have a chance to go out and prove that they're a quality SEC offensive line.
You've got about 30 players or so listed on defense with oars. So just talk about how you feel about that quality of depth that you have there on defense.
My first thought was it's going to be a long introduction, you know, at Jordan Hare when we introduced our starters on defense. But the truth is that is really it. The strength of our defense is in its numbers, and we've got to continue to hopefully adapt that mantra in our mindset. That it's not about the quantity of snaps that I play. It's the quality that I produce when I get my chance, and I think that's really our strength is the numbers. And you know, we will play all of those guys, I suspect, on Friday night, and he has all count. And he rotates them freely. Whoever goes out there, the first group, it's never a sure thing, and you've got to keep producing each day. And the competition has made them all better. You know, we'll see how these young kids do. We've got a lot of youth there that are going to play, and you got to see how they adjust to the game. And you know, usually, you know, you're surprised by 1 or 2 guys that you're like, all right, he's better on Friday nights than he's shown, and that the other's probably true too. You find out, all right, he's not quite ready. He's swimming a bit when the bullets are live, and it gets going pretty fast. So we'll learn a lot about ourselves, like everyone does in week 1. But I do expect DJ to play all those guys.
If Alex is not able to go, what is the backup plan there? And then even if he is able to go, do you guys plan on using multiple kickers depending on the distance?
That will be a discussion that Alex and I have on Friday. If he feels like he's able to participate, the next question will be, all right, let's be real on the, you know, how are you feeling on distance? And it may be pregame before we know that. So the answer is yes. We stand ready to use other kickers. I think Towns has had a solid camp, as has Gibbs. It's really close between those two as far as what they've graded out accuracy wise. Towns would probably get the first opportunity there, and we believe in all 3 of those guys. Obviously, Alex is super talented and accurate. It's just a matter of, you know, what he feels like he's able to do, and then we'll go from there with Towns and Gibbs.
Hey, it's JG with Auburn Sports, Auburn on 3. My question for you is, you've had a lot of first games. You've been coaching a while. Talk to me about the anxiety you have just kind of going into a first game of the season, even though you've been doing it a while. I mean, you probably don't know exactly how your team's going to perform.
Yeah. You know, I'm not a real anxious person, but the more film you watch, like we've been up since practice has ended, watching more tape, and I did just say to them, I think I need to quit watching tape because the more I watch, the better they get in my mind. And you know, I know they're a really good team, but that does create in you some man. Let's go find out. And so I guess that is anxiousness. It's but I'm full of excitement of this team. I know I've been around enough to know when you have enough talent to win games, and we do, and we're not going to run from that. We're excited about it, and now we've got to go prove that. And I don't know what the results will be on any given game because, as you know, there's a lot of teams that can beat you on a given night if you don't play very well. So that part with some of new quarterbacks and a lot of young guys on defense and all of that, it's a question mark for you. But I'm excited to go see them play. I know they are. When I walked in the team room to talk about our theme this week, they were excited and ready.
So Philip, Brian, Dan, Johnny.
Y'all have made the announcement this week about the Yellowwood thing on the field. How important is it these days for some people who can that probably wouldn't have ever liked the idea necessarily of doing some things like putting advertising on the field? How important is that in this era to have people willing to do that?
Yeah, we couldn't function in today's climate without the quality of boosters and supporters that we have. It would be impossible, and we're blessed here at Auburn to have many great ones that have obviously stepped up and done new and new things that are a sign of the new climate. And so that's just another one, and we're very grateful that we have those people that are willing to do that time and time again. And I know they probably get tired of us always calling the same few, but we're very thankful here that we've got many great boosters that are helpful in a lot of ways.
You, Ron Matthews, on sports.com, on your Rob, was how do you feel about the development of your pass rush throughout camp to now?
If again, I've got a sample size that's huge, and you can't carry all of that into. I mean, if they could do everything that they've done every single day in a single game, it'd make you feel very, very great. But Baylor's going to dictate too, some of which we can or cannot do, but I like the athleticism of our edge. I like the physicality and push that our inside guys have gotten against us. And so I hope we see the same thing. I have every reason to feel good about that based on the samples that I've seen throughout camp.
Coach, wanted to ask about Horatio Fields. What did you see that made him a priority in the portal? What have you seen this preseason, and what are you expecting this season?
Number one, he's become the leader of that room, believe it or not. I mean, he's the father figure in that room, the old guy, and he speaks great wisdom to all of that room. And if you ask them today, we voted on captains yesterday, and he received quite a few votes, and that's pretty special for a receiver that's come in, and I just think that speaks volumes of who we saw in him as a person and as a leader for the young talent. Then you get him here, and on tape you saw length and you saw ball skills, but then you get him here and you see his route running, and you're like, man, we've hit on another one. This guy's a solid player and does a lot for us in being able to. His football IQ is really high, can learn different positions, allows us to go some different personnel groupings that he can handle. And so really pleased with his camp for sure.
Hey, Hugh, Johnny Condon, ABC 1340 Sports in Birmingham. Turnovers were a problem at times last year. How do you coach decision-making on the field, and of the three quarterbacks that are looking for playing time, who's been the best at protecting the ball this fall?
I think turnovers speaks volumes about how our season went last year, and it was not just one person's fault. It was coaches, it was players, and multiple. But if you look at what we average per play, it just doesn't add up. That we didn't win more football games until you factor in that we were last in turnovers in the league, and I don't like to talk about it a whole lot. We talk about the ball being the number one important thing offensively, and that's what we'll continue to work on and continue to coach decision making at the quarterback position. And there's nothing wrong with using your legs. There's nothing wrong with punting. But we need every possession to end with a kick of some type. And that's the only way I know to do that. And we'll start finding out Friday night who has a comprehension of how important that is.
Go Jerry first, then we're done.
Coach, what was the theme in this week's team meeting ahead of Baylor matchup this week?
Run your race is the theme this week, and it's we've done a deal all throughout camp where we've incorporated videos from former players here. We did 10 different sessions on it, and there's a cloud of witnesses that are cheering you on, that are for you, that believe in you, and believe you can, right the ship and bring glory back to Auburn football. But it's very important that you understand your race. I think one of the dangers in life for all of us is, I think if we were all really honest with ourselves, there's probably a gap of, why am I not here yet at this point in my life in some area? Why am I, and that comes usually from comparison or what you had hoped or dreamed. And the most important thing is not have you, covered that gap. The most important thing is that you're still in the race and you're still running your race, and the baton is coming to you. You don't know when, but this is more like a relay race, and the baton gets passed and you can't do it. This is not an individual race. It's a relay one that you have a team. And I showed them great pictures this morning of Michael Phelps on a relay and Usain Bolt, and the pure excitement on their face is they're passing the baton, in Usain's case, or Phelps cheering on his guy coming to the end. That's totally different than an individual race. You might have your mom at the end of an individual track race, or your grandma or something, but man, you put a relay race on, the whole stadium is into it. And it's important that you run yours, and yours may not come in the first quarter, and yours may not come in the second quarter, but that baton's going to hit your hand at some point, and will you be ready for it? And how you run your race today matters in your preparation for that.
Last one.
Hugh, Dave Aranda, when he was coming up, in coaching, there was a lot of creative stuff on the defense side, especially with the way they pressure quarterbacks. You still see a lot of that with Baylor and that kind of DNA there, and trying to prepare for that with a new quarterback and some new offensive linemen.
Yeah, obviously, I've known Dave for years, and we've gone against each other, and I've gone against guys that have come up under him and have coached with some, and it's all about the simulated pressures, and that certainly hasn't changed. It's do a great job of disguising it and not knowing exactly who it is that's going to be the pressure guy. But he hasn't changed that, and I know he took over play calling last year. I assume he is this year. Don't know that, but I know that you'll see simulated pressures quite frequently, most every play.